Do you think the email crisis contributed to the question of trust?
Well, I have said that I am very sorry about it, that I made a mistake. It was certainly not a choice I would do again.
Okay, I want to hear you out on this. You've said, I'm sorry.
That's
I
right.
made a mistake.
That's
it was
right.
the wrong thing to do.
That's right.
It was
I have
the wrong
said that.
thing to
I
do.
have said that, yes.
And some say, what were you thinking about the national security risk when you made this decision? Because the capacity hasn't been that there was no hacking.
Well, there is no evidence of it.
No Some would suggest that that's the reason that they were very good at it, because there's no evidence of it, and that you exposed, as you know.
Charlie, there is no evidence of that. I take classification very seriously.
That's not even the question.
Well, but it is the question.
The question is, did you put stuff? Not about classification.
No, there's been so much talk and understandable confusion about all this. Let me just repeat what has been found. No evidence that I was ever breached or hacked, contrary, may I add, to government systems for which there is great evidence. And this was looked for. This was not overlooked and speculated on. This was looked for, and there is no evidence.
When you set up the private server, you were totally aware of this and decided you were not putting anything at risk.
And there is no evidence that there was.
But Comey, the director of the FBI, has said, but we don't know.
No, that's not what he said.
What
he
did he
said
say?
there is that if you
You can't rule it out, he said.
Well, but you can't rule it in either, and there is no evidence. So we could go back and forth on this. I go where the evidence leads, and there is no evidence.
Let me go to what he said. He said careless.
Well, I would hope that you, like many others, would also look at what he said when he testified before Congress, because when he did, he clarified much of what he had said in his press conference, and I appreciated that.
But he said it was sloppy.
No, he did not.
He said real sloppiness is what he said. What did he said?
He said,
correct me if I'm wrong, if in fact, because you know much better than I do, I'm sure because of the interest you had in it, he said, if in fact, someone said, what's the definition of careless? And he said, real sloppiness.
Well, let me say this. There were probably at least 300 people on those emails, the vast majority of whom are experienced professionals in handling sensitive material. They did not believe anything they were communicating was classified. It's now been clarified that there were no markings of classified material. There was a little flurry about 3 little documents that had a little C, but that's been clarified by the State Department. So you have 300 professionals. This is not, I'm not communicating with myself, Charlie. You have 300 professionals who are accustomed to dealing with this information. I trusted them, and I have no reason to have second-guessed their decision to send or forward me information. So I think at the end of the day, I wish I hadn't done it, of course. Was it a mistake? Yes.
Was it wrong?
Well, it was wrong because look at what it has generated.
But was it careless?
Well, I think you would have to say 300 people who communicated with me on email are among the most careful people I've ever had the privilege of working with.
But then why did he use the word careless is my problem. I mean,
I don't know. But if you go back, read his testimony when he testified 2 days later, and he clarified a lot of what he said then.
I mean, you wouldn't have done it again. Do you think it contributed and became a controversy because it fed the trust issue?
Well, I'm sure it didn't help. Yes, I am sure it didn't help. But I'll tell you this, I am the last person you will ever have to worry about, ever, not being 100% as specific and precise as I can be, so that nobody ever raises any questions like that ever again.
Because you've gone through this.
Yes, I have.
Should you have known better?
All I can tell you is that other secretaries of state, other cabinet officials, other high officials, the same thing. And so now the rules are much clearer, and I would hope that now that they've been clarified, we will all be able to understand them better.